Hey there. This week I'd like to talk about how to choose the right friends. How to make sure that the people that you allow into your life are people that will have a positive, enjoyable effect on your life, and that you will have a positive, enjoyable effect on theirs. The key to this is really exciting, and it allows you to make sure that instead of being trapped in cycles which are unproductive, whereby you have friends that you go through the same negative cycles with, you have friends where you can have positive, productive cycles. When people first meet, this is when the agreement as to what the friendship is going to be is laid out. It's quite hard to see initially, but the truth is we all present who we are and what we have to offer. It's not overt. So let's imagine that you have a tendency in life to help people who don't help themselves and resist that process, even though they're asking for help, and then it backfires and you fall out. If you think back to when you met those people and think of the conversations, you'll probably find that they told you that this was a cycle in their life. They just didn't say it in that way. So they said that they were failing and that life was hard and that everyone keeps letting them down, and they implored you to help. Now, people who don't feel a need to help in this way or to get involved in these kind of friendships, they would see that overtly. They'd think, oh, that person's blaming everyone else. You know, they think that world owes them a living and that some person's going to come along or some group of people are going to lift them up and solve all their problems. The person who is involved in this kind of repetitive, negative, futile cycles will have a blind spot. They won't be able to see that message on another level. They'll take it literally, and their heart will open up and they'll offer to help. Likewise, you'll see the same thing happens with other negative relationships. A victim and someone who is abusive will identify each other on some level, even if it's not conscious. So how do we get past these mental blocks? How do we actually see what is really going to be presented, what the true exchange that is going on is? Well, here are two keys that I like to present you to do so, and with practice you'll be able to see what's going on far more clearly. The first one, which is the most powerful and most important, is the I am not special key. Okay, so when you get a new girlfriend or boyfriend and you look at what they're saying and how they're treating their ex-partners, that is how they will probably treat you. When you get a job and you look at how a boss treats his employees, that's probably how he will treat you. When you are about to make a business deal and the person says, oh, I'm so glad to find someone trustworthy. I've gone through all these different attempts and I always fall out with these people. They don't know how to do business properly, and oh, this person's fallen out and he betrayed me and this happened bad. And you are about to sign up to some trouble because the way that person is doing business isn't good, and it's not that the world is against him. There's something in the way that he ties up deals. Maybe they're not firm or clear enough. Maybe he changes the goalpost. Something isn't functioning. So if you assume that you are not different and that you will be part of that cycle that is on offer, and listen, is the message one of everything's wonderful? Oh, this is my great friend, I love him, and we've done this together, and oh, do you want to meet him? And I like to do this kind of thing, do you want to come with me? And so on. If the cycle they're telling you about in their life is great, yeah, hop on board, that sounds positive. If the cycle is negative and they're complaining about hardships and terrible things, be very, very cautious. Be very, very cautious. The more you look at this, the more you'll realise how honest people are. It's very rare someone will say, it's all great, come on in. And then when you find there, you find it's all chaos and pain. They are specifically asking for help, and they do want help. They're just too confused and too stuck in that negative cycle of their own making to be able to ever accept it. The second principle, which is not as powerful but is worth listening to, is to look at how others respond. So if you're a person who keeps getting in situations where things develop in a way you don't want them to do with love, so if you keep getting into love triangles or something like that, you will probably have a blind spot as to what's happening. So other people would see someone who says they want to be friends, and they wouldn't listen to the words as much. They'd look at the whole scene and that person's past and how they interact with you, and they think, this is trouble. The person who's caught in that cycle won't see these things. So if that's your cycle, look to see how other people in similar circumstances respond to the same person. Listen to what they say. And you'll find there's a strange part of you which, because you're used to this game, is surprisingly stubborn to hear that message. So if someone tells you that person's trouble, or that's not going to work, or whatever, and you find yourself very quickly dismissing that, you need to question why. These two keys will allow you to see through that layer of confusion. And that layer of confusion is actually caused by something you're gaining from these relationship interactions. So I started off with mentioning someone who helps people who never actually do the work and always feel let down at the end and so on. That person gains a sense of being in control, a sense of admiration, a sense of feeling good by trying to help someone. They gain something, and they've normally got their own, I tried to help, but everyone throws it back in my face in the end story as well. So your emotions are seeking this kind of fulfillment, so they blind you to the message that most other people, or other people who aren't into that kind of friendship, will be able to see. Once you've identified what that emotion is, and it's quite interesting because if you do start cultivating lots of positive interactions, then it will become more clear. You need to find a healthy way of doing that. So if you're someone who likes to help and inspire people, help and inspire people who are already on the up, who are already moving on their own. If you're a person who's looking to get lots of attention, do that by spreading the light for a good cause, or by performing in some way that makes people's lives better. That's the key to expressing the emotion, so that ultimately these blind spots that lead to questionable friendships disappear. That's all I've got to say on that. My name is Martin Faulks, and I hope this has helped anyone who's looking to cultivate a team of positive people who are looking to make the world better and to have a good life around them. Until next week, let's let every word and action count.